Okay, so the first thing I'm going to have to do in order to solve this problem is make the denominators the same. Because I can subtract the numerator, denominator stays the same, but since it's not the same, I cannot do that. So no problem, I'm going to have to do that on the side. So right now I have a denominator of a 12 and a denominator of a 6. If you need the same denominator, find the multiples. So if I find my multiples of 12 and multiples of 6, remember multiples is a fancy word for skip count. So I'm skip counting by my 12s, I'm skip counting by my 6s. What kind of multiples? Least common multiples. The smallest one they have in common is 12. That means that's also the least common denominator, which means the new denominator needs to be a 12. So we have a little case of the good news, bad news. If this denominator needs to be a 12, it's already looking good. If this needs to have a denominator of a 12, 2 and 1 6, I need to go ahead and change that. So for 2 and 1 6, to have a denominator of a 12, to get from 6 to 12, I give it a gift of times 2. If I give it to the denominator, I also have to give that same gift to the numerator. So I have 2 twelfths. But don't forget, it was 2 and 1 sixth. So the equivalent fraction is 2 and 2 twelfths. Don't forget about that whole number. So instead of calling this 2 and 1 sixth, I'm now going to call it 2 and 2 twelfths. So we're back on track, ready to subtract. Okay? Both denominators are 12, so they're both looking okay. When I go ahead and subtract, 4 minus 2 is 2. Denominator stays the same. And 7 take away 2 is 5. Now, this still needs a little bit of work. No worries. I'm going to have to go ahead and simplify. So, it's the right answer, it's just not in simplest form. It's not reduced. So I need I need simplest form. You find the factors. Factors of the 2 and factors of the 12. Always, always, always start with 1. Flip-flop, you stop. Flip-flop, you stop. The greatest common factor, the biggest factor they both have is a 2, which means in order to simplify this, I need to divide the top and the bottom by 2. That will get me 5 and 1 6. So, instead of saying that my answer is 5 and 2 twelfths, I am now saying, no, it's actually 5 and 1 6. And that is correct.